Coming up, believe it or not, some companies have a hard time finding workers, but the MidAmerica Industrial Park has hit on a solution. And also, isn't it great when two strong groups come together to help each other and to help others? This and more coming up on Perspectives. David Stewart with the MidAmerica Industrial Park is our guest in this segment, and he has some good news we're going to get to in just a couple of minutes. David, good to see you again.
You too, and it's a pleasure to be here.
You ready for Christmas?
Well, my wife is.
A little bit about the industrial park. Fill us in.
Well, you know, it's a black powder munitions plant built to support the war effort in 1942. And in 1960, all of those assets were contributed to MidAmerica Industrial Park, a public trust, for the purpose of economic development and to attract businesses and create jobs and generally benefit Oklahoma.
How much space is available?
We have about 2,000 acres left. And it kind of leads up to our point. We're in the process of master planning that 2,000 acres, getting it shovel ready, which means companies can move in and they'll have water, electric, and waste treatment and all the things they need to operate. So that's what we're doing at the present time, and then getting ready for the future.
Future's always good when you got plans put in place, which you guys do. How many companies do we have out there right now?
We have a little over 80 companies, and about 4,200 employees go to work there every day in a wide range of industries. Of course, we have Google there, which is a data center, and then we have distribution companies, we have plastics, paper manufacturing, agri-nutrition. DuPont has a facility there. So we're not necessarily tied to the oil and gas business or any one industry. Fairly diverse and I think very stable.
How many employees are we talking?
How many employees?
Yeah.
Over 4,000.
So
yes.
That in itself, just that number, provides a good infusion into the economy.
Absolutely.
All right, now, somebody out there, maybe you, I'm not quite sure who, has been dallying, if you will, outside the box and came up with a really clever idea. Share it with us.
Well, the idea is the district, and it's a multi-use real estate development that has apartments, retail, and a housing addition, and other, supporting businesses that would be interested in being close to that many employees and supporting the park. So it's kind of filling the gap, if you will, to make it a community. And that's the idea, is we want this to have a sense of place that would be a little unique than other rural communities. And also, when we attract all these new companies, their employees have to have a place to live.
You bet. So that means we should see a boost in housing construction, plumbing, electrical. You're going to see a boost in several fields just to take care of future development.
Absolutely. And those are all, those are construction jobs, but those are all jobs that create money back into the community. They provide sales tax revenues. We're currently working with the city of Pryor to annex that property, which is healthy for residents and the city itself. But this construction is only a small piece of what's going on out there. We currently have a whole host of electricians and cranes in the air to support the construction going on right now. So it is happening as we speak.
So it's really underway.
Absolutely.
What's been the response?
Fantastic. It's a little outside the box for an industrial park to get into this kind of development, but in today's world, we have to be different. We have to be ready for the future. And what I don't want to do is to have the employees here and then not to have a place for them to live and work and then play. And so that's the idea, is to have all of that in one spot.
What about education? Will there be, say, like early education setups there, small schools?
Yes, we have a great educational network of career centers that MidAmerica has put into surrounding schools. We have 10 schools that have state-of-the-art STEM labs supported by us, which gives them STEM education. And it's also a place where the companies can engage students and find out about careers, and also a place where the students can hear, what do I need, what kind of skills do I need to work here at MidAmerica and stay at home? And that's the purpose, is to give them that insight early and then give them the STEM training that they will need in order to be successful at that job.
I was out of state recently and I heard someone talking, a total stranger, talking to somebody else about the park, in Oklahoma, and my ears kind of perked up. And as I listened, as I eavesdropped, if you will, they were talking about your park, the MidAmerica Park.
Okay.
And I thought, boy, this is great.
Yeah.
So there must be somebody in the marketing department up there really doing Johnny Hustle, if you will.
Yeah, well, it's a team effort.
Yeah.
We have great staff, and we're doing things that are a little outside the box. For example, we're helping sponsor a BMX track at the park.
Really?
And we have gotten such a response on that because there is a STEM aspect of BMX with the bicycle and parts and angles and weight and gravity and all of that. And so the kids are just so excited, and the parents are excited. And for us to be successful, we have to have the parents understanding what jobs are there, be a part of the community. So all of these different things are adding up to what I think is just a great mix of community involvement and creating this sense of place.
Will the homes that we're talking about here be the type that can be purchased? Are they going to be rental property, lease property? What are we talking about?
Well, we will actually sell property to a developer for apartments, and then we will do some of the infrastructure for the real estate development, but we will not be actually in the real estate development business per se. We'll actually sell lots to builders, and then they will build the homes and sell the homes and that kind of thing. We're providing the base infrastructure for the development.
If you wouldn't mind to do so, could you kind of lay out for us how you're marketing this concept? Because quite frankly, I don't know if it's being done in other places or not, because, we're talking about an industrial park trying to say, hey, come live and work right here.
Right. Well, we get a lot of press from the out-of-the-box thinking of real estate development. I mean, that hits the airwaves pretty high. So that gets attention, the BMX gets attention. The one thing that gets the most attention is our workforce development program, because companies have to have workers. And I mean, that's always the constraint with unemployment, very low. And so our workforce development program that has the career centers in the schools is really the springboard to do all of these other things. So when you add that up, it's a great package. It's a great place to put a business. And that's what we want to do. We want to get the CEO's attention to say, I want to be there. And when you look at the stability of MidAmerica, we're financially strong. We're the home of the Cherokee Nation, which is going to be here till the end of time. We have all the capital investment at the park that supports education, because ad valorem taxes go to support K through 12. So prior, we'll have, if it doesn't now, one of the best school systems in Oklahoma. So that's a great recipe for success.
That's going to be great.
Yes.
I can envision soccer teams, football teams, baseball teams, and the like coming out of this. So there are going to have to be some parks built. Places for the kids to play. Yeah,
and actually, of course, community is a part of the overall plan, so we're involved in that as well.
Gosh, what a concept. I think this is really going to be nice. How far down the road are you in terms of attracting businesses? Are there some you can't talk about just yet?
Well, we always have a certain number of proposals that are out, and we're under confidentiality agreements. So we would expect to have some things happen within the next 3 to 4 months.
No kidding.
Yeah, so it is exciting, but it takes a while. It's a slow-moving process with site selectors. They have to, you're competing against all of the other sites in the U.S., and so it's a slow, grinding process, but we...
that's interesting, because I'd not considered the fact that industrial parks have to compete with one another.
Oh, absolutely.
So it must be fierce competition.
It is. In fact, every city, in the United States has an industrial park or a piece of property that they believe is good for to create additional jobs. So everyone is competing for the job. And that's what we're up against. So it's highly competitive. And so that's why we're trying to be ahead of the curve and be first and be ahead of the growth instead of behind it.
I got to tell you, I love Pryor. I used to have family there, they've since passed, but I was in there quite a bit when I was a younger man. This, however, has the potential of really causing Pryor to explode on the map.
Yeah, I think so. And especially with the cooperation of the city fathers, if you will, of Pryor that see the vision, and they're going to be a part of this. And it really takes high collaboration between all of the stakeholders that are a part of this process. The school system, all of the organizations that support the community, they're all on board. And that's why this is going to be a success.
What intrigues me about this, it's like something I saw in a motion picture somewhere about 8 or 9 years ago, where there was a series of companies lined up and they decided to start building houses in the area to attract workers. It was not germane to the entire motion picture, but you caught it if you were watching, you know, and I thought, man, when I heard about this, I thought, this is, you know, life impersonating art, if you will, because I think it's a great concept.
Well, you know, for a bank or a developer to take the risk of the capital investment, that's a tough thing to do. So if we can take that risk out, put the infrastructure in, and take that burden off the home builder, then I think that will help them, you know, get to the end zone, and that is to sell a home to someone that works there at the park.
Let's have an understanding. At this thing, as it develops and grows, will you keep us informed and come back and tell us about it?
Absolutely, because I'll be so excited to do that.
We may have to strap you in a chair.
I know it.
Keep you from bouncing around. Thank you, my friend.
Well, thank you, and thanks for having me.
No, we appreciate it. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back, and we're going to have something about working together to help others right after this.